For our next step, let's go to the game event sheet. And then to make the monsters spawn slightly faster each time, every time a bullet hits a monster, I'm going to add a system action to subtract from the monster timer. We'll say 0.05. Then as our numbers get higher, you'll see the monsters spawn a lot faster. They might go a little bit too fast, so instead, for set value, we'll set monster timer to itself times 0.95. We'll want to reset that each time we restart the layout. So system, set value, monster timer to 4. I'm also going to copy that down to game control. And when the player has a collision with monster and we reset our live, I'm going to paste that so that our monster timer is reset with each new player life. Then we'll see as the game progresses that the monsters spawn a lot faster. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a power up. So I'm going to add a new sprite. It says it's on the UI layer. I'll change that here in a second. Add in my power up sprite. I'm going to switch its layer to the game layer. I'm going to change that to power up. I'm going to add the fade behavior. I'm going to have it wait 3 seconds and then we'll have it fade out in 1 second and destroy after it fades out. So that'll give us 4 seconds to pick it up after it gets dropped. We'll switch to our event sheet, add a new group for our power up, add a sub event for when the player has a collision with the power up. First we want to destroy the power up so we can't get it more than once. Then I'm going to add a global variable for rapid fire. I'm going to start it at 0. And then I'm going to add 1 to that variable every time I get this power up. Add to rapid fire 1. Now we need to create the power up. So that is going to be on the monster. When the bullet hits the monster, I want to add a sub event. We'll do system and we'll do compared to values. And for the first one, I'm going to do random. So this will create a random number between 0 and 5, but it can also include decimal points. So what we need to actually do is we need it to be less than or equal to 1. That'll give us a 1 in 5 or 20% chance of the power up spawning. Then we'll have the monster spawn a power up on our game layer image point 0. Now because of that, I don't want the monster to be destroyed right away, so I'm going to add a blank sub event that happens after this, so that it happens no matter what, and that's where I'm going to destroy the monster. That way the monster will still exist here and can create the power up, but he'll get destroyed afterwards whether a power up is created or not. Now let's implement the power up. So our controls, I'm going to add a sub event, system compare value if rapid fire is greater than 0. Then I'm going to have add an else, and I'm going to move my left click into the else so that we have to click if we don't have rapid fire. If we do have rapid fire, instead we want to add a sub event for system every X seconds. So we're going to do 1.0 divided by rapid fire. Then I'm going to copy and paste my spawn bullets there. So now when I run it, 1 out of every 5 monsters should drop a power up. We'll see that we have our power up. Everything seems to work okay, except that sometimes our bullet spawn is not at the right angle. So I'm going to change the every tick set angle to right before we create bullets. That way we're always pointing toward where we're firing. That way if I'm moving a different direction than I'm facing, I will still fire the direction the mouse is pointing. The last thing we need to do is add an action to a start of layout to reset our rapid fire back to 0. Then when we run it, we should be able to pick up a power-up. Have it auto-fire for us. The more we get, the faster it should fire. We should be able to get to where it fires pretty fast. When our game is over and we restart, it should reset our fire rate.